welcome to Can Do Conversations. I am Cheryl Williams, the Can Do Mom.
I'm CJ Williams, the Can Do Dad. Thank you for being here.
Welcome, guys. We are excited to have you here.
Yes, welcome.
This is an exciting time of year. I don't know if you have kids, you know we've only got a couple more sleeps, right? Until Christmas Day. That is the countdown. We have our countdown. It goes.
He changes it every morning, our son.
It goes from like around Thanksgiving time all the way up.
Yeah, he double checks.
Yeah, we've got the elves scurrying around doing things all the time. And then it's just, this is the time. This is like, if you think back to when you were a child, especially now, if you don't celebrate Christmas, you know, okay. But we do, so we're going to discuss Christmas.
We're going to talk
about celebrate. So this is, you know, as a child, I remember waking up those Christmas mornings and being excited to, you know, run downstairs or to see what was under the tree. And now looking at the kids, I mean, I remember like shaking presents or trying to figure out the weight or does it move?
Yes.
They're doing the exact same thing. Who's it for? Oh, what could it be?
I don't remember something this small.
Was that on my list? Let me see the size, the shape.
Shaky,
Which one am I going to open? Because we started a tradition a couple years ago that we do open one gift on Christmas Eve. So everyone gets to choose what that one gift is going to be before they open the rest of them Christmas morning. So we have lots of traditions. So we have, you know, matching Christmas pajamas that we all wear.
Yes.
We have the elves that come December 1st and leave on the 24th. And they do all kinds of fun things throughout the house. Sometimes they bring things. Sometimes they, you know, make things. So it's
a lot of the time they bring things.
It's a lot of little things that they do. And then, of course, you know, we have the big man himself. We've got Santa. Yeah. You know, he's front and center Christmas Eve.
Movies.
We watch Christmas movies throughout, but then we also have like a day that we kind of just, we make some food up and we have it that we can just put it in the crock pot or have it in the oven, and so we can do some snacks, and we watch Christmas movies. We have Christmas game day, not that we play Christmas games, but
the elves have fun with me.
They always do something with him. We have certain meals that we have at certain times. We always go around and look at the lights. This year we were able to go and look at some really nice lights at a park that's not too far from here. Great shows. So there's lots of things. We always have to read the night before Christmas.
Yes.
We decorate the car. It's for years now. It's been Rudolph, so we have red nose and antlers.
Always.
We have Christmas music playing. We have the diffusers diffusing, you know, lovely cinnaman and
Christmas
vanilla.
music all day, every day.
All day,
in
every
the car.
Instrumental, though.
Instrumental Christmas in the car.
I mean, I love Christmas music, but even the words after a while get a little too much. It's instrumental playing in the background. So all these things, and this brings up nostalgia. It brings up traditions. It brings up, you know, just Christmas cheer, right? And so, you know, from our family years, we hope that this season has been cheerful, you know, for you. The other thing that we do is we do help out those that are less fortunate as well. We normally, you know, have different toy drives that we become a part of because we want the kids to know that, you know, not everybody has everything that we have, and so that we are very blessed. And so you give back. We also go and do food drives, lots of different things. And so, you know, what are you and your family do? What are your traditions? What are your Christmas traditions or holiday traditions? What are the things that you do every single year that you look forward to? Another thing we do is we make sugar cookies. We cut them out.
Every year.
We decorate it. We did this before the kids were even around. It was something that he and I, you know, we did before the little chickadees were around. So now it's something that we've been doing this for years and years now. We have
and the recipe is changing this year.
Perfected just a little bit. You know, we're going to change it up.
Yes, but, less coloring.
Yeah, less coloring and more cookie, I guess you could say.
Yes.
So the cookie, we had the perfect cookie recipe. It is good every single year. It hasn't ever been a miss, so it's always a hit. We make homemade eggnog. We like
That's been a hit too.
That's been great with all the yummy
fresh eggs,
fresh raw milk, all that kind of stuff. And then we always do gingerbread houses. Now, a couple years we attempted to make our own gingerbread house, and that was it was a big project, and it just didn't quite hold up. So we do buy the pre-built gingerbread houses so that we can decorate the houses, right? Because we've done the ones where we had to build the slabs, and it never quite comes together. At all. So we get the pre-built ones, and we get these months in advance so that we have them ready to go around Christmas time. So these are all things that we look forward to do as a family. The kids sometimes are like, hey, we got to do this, we got to do that, because they know the traditions that we have. They know. I also love to capture turn off the lights, have the Christmas tree lit up, and capture the kids in front of the tree looking at it.
Yes, with the shadow.
Like a nice shadow effect. So we have many years of that, and it's great. Now they're getting bigger. It's like, okay, they're becoming much taller.
That'll be cool
for
put together.
For the tree, and then, sitting and reading the night before Christmas on the couch, like all of these things. And so, it really, when you look at it, it's about the traditions that you have with your family, whether it's Christmas or whether it's for birthdays or different holidays.
Thanksgiving.
It's about coming together. It's about
as a family unit,
having the family. It's about building those bonds and those traditions and those things that are going to be carried down from generation to generation. We know we've taken some of the things that our parents did and we've kind of tweaked it and made of our own. We know the kids, when they get older, they're going to take some of the things and make them their own. And
they will.
It's just, those are the things that you get to see. But I think the best thing is just seeing the excitement in their faces, the twinkle in their eye, the giggle that they have when it's like the next thing, right? And it doesn't have to be some elaborate. It's the little details that really make the big difference. But it is about the details.
It is.
It's the
little
things. And so this kind of goes into today's conversation about the little details, because we're going to talk about creating momentum and making a winning streak, getting that winning momentum.
Keep it going.
Going, right? And it comes from the little details and the little things that you put together.
Right, and the things, they're so small, you might not realize that that's a part of it. Because the momentum's not going to start when it's big and huge, all at that one moment. It's going to be the little things, the little steps you do, the getting up early, the taking care of your physical body first while you're building something. And it all comes together as a whole.
And so you've got to really look at what are the wins that you're wanting to create. Maybe you've done some this year and you're like, those are wonderful. I really do like these, but I want to take it up to the next level. I want to kick it up, or I know I can do more, or I kind of fell off track during the holidays and I want to get back on. Wherever you are, you got to take some inventory of where you are, and then you got to figure out what you want, because when we start creating this momentum, it is from the smallest little things. So if you do want to get up earlier, what is that? What time? What is earlier for you, right? Some people are up at 3, some people are up at 7, some people are up at 10. So what is earlier for you to be able to get the things done that you want to get done, right? And there's always seasons too. Maybe certain times you get up at certain times and other times. So you've got to know what is that for you. And when you get up,
not jumping into it also right away. From you get up at 7 and all of a sudden you want to get up at 4.
Well, there's two methods of thought of this, right? It's like you can ease into it, or you can rip off the Band-Aid, right? So, and I'm a lot of times I'm one for just rip it off and go, right?
Yes.
And so it depends. It's like, if you want to stop drinking, do you ease it down, or you just not pick up another drink, right? If you want to start getting in more steps, do you ease in and say, okay, I want to work my way up to 10,000, or do you just get to 10,000, right?
Now,
so
and then 10 later.
Again, it's like you got to do what works for you, but ripping off the Band-Aid and going all in is what I encourage you to do, because then you're not making it, I'm kind of sort of doing it. You might be tired for a few days. You could be, right?
Or sore.
Or maybe you need to go to bed a little earlier so you can get up, right? And so you have to start looking at all of these things, and there are seasons, again, that you might need to burn the candle on both ends. Especially if you have businesses, or you have families, or you have, children, or, maybe someone's not feeling well.
Families about to come in town.
So there's all different kinds of things that nothing is for, permanent forever. And so sometimes you have to go with those ebbs and flows. And so what is the winning streak that you're wanting to put together, and how do you stack the wins, right? And we look at the smallest of wins, because most people are like, I want the win. It's up here.
Giant wins.
It's huge. And so they never celebrate the little wins along the way. But what we want you to start getting is the momentum behind you. Win.
Yes.
Win. Because when you start winning more, you start looking for ways to win even more, right?
You'll become a winner.
Yeah, and so winners win, right? And so, but you kind of it almost becomes a game with yourself. Okay, how can I win more today than I did yesterday? How can I win more this week than I did last week? How can I win more this month? And so you start looking at the smallest little things. Getting up earlier, win.
Right.
Drinking the water you said you're going to drink, win.
Reading.
Prayer.
Win.
Meditation. Win. Doing your workout that you said you're going to do, even when you didn't feel like doing it. Win. Right? Going outside and going for that walk. Win. Spending
time with the family.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
And eating more. Eating healthier.
Yeah. Or maybe you say, you know what, I'm going to start tracking my macros, or I'm going to start having X amount of meals a day.
Yep.
Or, you know, I am going to spend more time with my family, but not just spending time. What are we going to be doing during that
together,
time?
not watching TV.
We're going to, you know, game night once a week, or we're going to have time we'll read together as a family, or we're going to go on that family hike or that family bike ride, or, you know, we're going to go take a family trip, or, you know, we're going to fill in the blank. I'm going to spend, you know, more time doing this, or I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day learning a language, or I'm going to, you know, learn how to cook more meals, or I'm going to, you know, get a cookbook and cook 10 recipes out of there, because I always get a cookbook and I never cook anything. Or, you know, what is it for you?
Taking that first step also.
It is. Or, hey, you know what? This month or this year, I'm going to work on, you know, putting aside more money than I ever have. I'm going to work on making more money. I'm going to work on making more phone calls out to people, or picking up the phone, or sending out more emails or more text messages.
More
I'm going to go
contacts.
knock on more doors. I'm going to reach out to more people. I'm going to be more active on social media, not just, you know, scrolling. I'm actually going to put out content. I'm going to be the producer of it. I'm not going to be the consumer. I'm going to be the creator. And so I'm going to do I'm going to do X amount of lives, or I'm going to spend X amount of minutes on there, intentful, doing something as proactive and
know
productive.
what you want to say to get your message across.
Or I want to get clear on what my message is, or I want to get to X amount of pounds on the scale, or I want to, again, there's
so many.
There's so many things. And so you have to figure out what it is for you, but then you got to start looking at those small little things. Because if you can start stacking wins first thing in your day, and you've already won 5, 10, 15 times before it's even noon, and you're comparing yourself to other people who haven't had a win at all, right?
No, they're just getting up.
So if you get up early, win. Drink your water, win. Have your first meal, win. Getting your workout in, win. You're getting you're doing your meditation, win.
Counting those macros.
Prayer, visualization, win. You've spent time with your family first thing in the morning, win. You went outside and got some sun, hey, win. Maybe you spent some time get some grounding. All these things are wins, and so don't overlook them. It's like, oh, that's I always do that. Okay, well, stack it as a win, right? Great. So then you start acknowledging how you are a winner. You start acknowledging how you are able to do the little things, because the little things become the big things, right? Over time, these habits become who you are. And so you could have habits that are no longer serving you that you need to change. You could have habits that create wins. You can also have habits that go the other way. And if you're looking at, you drink, you smoke, you don't work out, you eat a bunch of crap, you sit around and watch TV, you're on social media, those are not wins most of the time.
So
right?
Each time you get rid of each one of those things, it's going to be a win. And stick to it, not just do it, not do it for a week.
And you have to look at, if you're stacking wins, you also have to keep an eye on the losses too, right? And so you have to have more wins than you have losses.
Right.
And so if you're like, I did get off track, okay, or I didn't get up at the time I was going to get up today. Well, is that a win or is that a loss, right?
It's a loss.
And most people only want to keep an eye on and track the wins, but you also have to look at the losses, because if a week from now you look back and say, something's off
How'd I get
this week.
5 losses each day?
But something was off this week. What happened? It was like, I only looked at my wins. I didn't win as much. Well, how many losses did you rack up, right? Did you not get up at the time you said you're going to get up?
Yep.
Did you not do your workouts? Did you not read? Did you not eat well, right?
Did you not get your steps in?
Did you go out and drink? Did you go out and party? So those are all and those go in the L column, right? We got to stack up those losses too. We
want an L right next to it.
We have to make sure our wins are more than our losses, because
and make sure you have a list.
You want to be stacking wins, but you have to account for the losses too, because they do. It's a scale, right? It's going to either go up or down. So if you keep stacking the wins, or if you keep stacking the losses, you're going to have more of one or the other. And at the end of the day, and the week, and the month, and you can look back and say, okay, I had more wins than I had losses. And the wins feel so much better than the losses, right?
Right, and then you're going to work on changing that for the next month.
How can I win more? Or the next week. I love to do every single day, look at it, and then I say, how many days did I win and how many days did I lose? Okay, and then I take that out for the month. How many days of the month did I win versus lose? And I better be on I was winning a heck of a lot more than I was losing, or I need to stop and figure out what the heck's happening, right? Because sometimes you can just be spiraling and you're just like going through the motions, and so you're not really even focused on what you're doing, and that's how you can start stacking up those losses. And that momentum goes both ways. The momentum shifts, and if you're losing, you can lose a lot more. If you're winning, you can win a lot more. Only when you're paying attention, though, to those wins and those losses.
You just have to reevaluate each day. And then go back and say, I don't want to lose here, here, here. And I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to make sure next week I'm not going to do these things. Or have it in your mind set, I'm not going to lose anything today. And do your best on staying on that momentum for your wins so you don't get your losses. And then you'll eventually have way more wins than losses.
And what you focus on expands. So if you focus on the losses, you're going to get more losses. So if you focus, say, I'm winning today. I am a winner. I am setting myself up to win today. How am I going to get those wins in first thing and keep winning throughout the day? And then at the end of the day, you take your inventory, win or lose, right? How did you do today? And that way, when you do get up the next day, you're prepared for, okay, if you went off track or things went awry or tomorrow's a brand new day to get right back on track, right? And so if you're waiting and only look at the end of the month, your wins and losses, you have a whole month that you could have been losing. The same thing, you wait until the end of the week.
Yeah, don't wait too long.
But if you account every day, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, it makes it easier to see
get that down.
If you are losing, what do we need to course correct? What do we need to change? What do we need to, intervene with to make sure that we're getting back into that winning momentum?
The winning column.
It's momentum, right? And we want to create a long streak of wins. And so know that losses are going to come up. It's inevitable, right? They're going to happen.
Life happens.
However, it's what you do with that. If you let that one loss derail you and just say, oh, well, forget it, and you keep going over here versus saying, okay, how can I change this, tweak this so I don't get that loss again and I can keep winning more? And that's what you want to do. And so you have to start looking at it and being cognizant and being present and knowing, okay, what am I doing today? Okay, great.
Yes.
Win or loss. Okay, what am I doing differently tomorrow if I lost today?
Yes.
Or if I want to win more, I want to execute better. And you start evaluating on a continual basis.
Well, just like for your meals, you're going to know if you ate properly for your breakfast, but what about your lunch? If you ate out and ate crap for your lunch, that's a loss. And then you had a good dinner, but you still had that loss, and you keep having that loss every day. You're going to have to change that and maybe fix something at home to take to lunch.
And again, we're not saying that you need to be perfect because no one's perfect.
No.
But we're saying that your wins need to outweigh your losses. And so, if you are finding that, you're during the middle of the day,
a habit of losing every day.
Is when you're not, consuming the best things.
Or when you're not at home.
Or you forget to think about the things that you need. And so you get hungry and you get angry and you get in the afternoon and you just grab whatever's around you. How can you do something differently in there, knowing yourself that's a challenge?
Right.
Or you eat great all day up until dinner time and then it's like you throw it out. Or maybe you eat great all day and dinner, but then in the evening time, because
you had a pint of ice cream,
because you have more time on your hands, you're just sitting around mindlessly eating anything, right?
While you're watching
and a lot of people
TV
are great all day, and then in the evening when they're left to their own devices, they go back to what they do.
Right, because they have all their wins to say, hey, I won the day.
Yeah, I'm good.
I have everything. And then you start cooking and making creations and piling all the crap on top of each other.
You go back to your habits. So you need to put in something different. Maybe instead of going and, letting that, maybe you go and fix yourself a nice cup of warm tea. Or maybe you have something, or maybe you just go to bed, right? Instead of sitting around and just letting the night go on,
some extra
you're not
rest.
being productive and you're just thinking about eating something else, go to bed. Or go brush your teeth. Or, get a workout in.
Drink a lot more water.
Yeah, drink a lot more water. Maybe you read, or maybe you do go and get that walk or that workout in. So you're putting that energy into something else that's serving you better instead of the same pattern and the same habit that you're used to going down.
And it'll be better for you if you're reading at night anyway before you go to bed, because you're not on your device where you're watching something that's affecting your eyes, going to affect your sleep, and it's settling you down so you can go right to bed and go to sleep.
And those things that you think about or watch or absorb right before you go to bed, those are thoughts that stay in your mind all night long. And so maybe you take a little bit of time in the evening, and that is when you do your meditation, or that is when you do your reading, or that is when you do your visualization. And so when you go to sleep, your mind is able to think on those things that are serving you better and helping you get to where you want to go versus things that are not, right? And we as a society, are mindlessly just scrolling. It used to be back in the day, you'd stay up in the evening and watch the late night infomercials or the late night shows, and that's not a thing anymore. It's like anything you want is right there 24/7 for you. And so sometimes you have to put some parameters or some boundaries on that for yourself as to what you are going to do versus what you aren't going to do. And then again, that's a win or a loss.
Right. Are you watching TV plus scrolling? Ooh, nice.
Yeah, or just kind of going on in the background while you're doing something else. So be more cognizant of what you're doing. Be more cognizant of your habits and the things that you start seeing as a pattern, and how can we do a pattern interrupt? How can we change that? How can we tweak that? Because getting rid of it is great, but you have to replace it with something else, right? And so you can't just say, I'm not going to have that dessert. If you're used to having dessert every single night after bed, or maybe after dinner before you go to bed, well then we need to replace it with something else, a different habit, right? So maybe it is you brush your teeth. Maybe it is you get a drink. Maybe it is of water, or a drink of tea. Or
not a shot.
No, not that kind of drink. No. Or you go out and you have a walk, or you do some breathing, or you just go to bed and you're like, oh, today's done. I did everything I said I'm going to do. It's time for bed now, right? So many people just sit around and just, now I've got downtime. Well, maybe during that downtime you should go to bed.
It could be communication also. Talking about your day with your hubby or your wife.
Yeah, just some, communication, even with the kids.
Yes.
Talking, interacting, and so figure out what
together.
You're going to be doing in those times of because when you just take it out, then you have a void. So you need to replace it with something better that serves you in the direction that you're wanting to go. And this is how you create momentum in the right direction. This is how you stack the wins so that your wins overshadow the losses.
And make sure you keep it here. Once it's here, you really have to get it down on paper. Don't do it here. And, okay, I thought about this, because it won't affect you as much. You really have to write it down so you can visually see it.
And so each time you're getting those wins, you write it, because then you know that you're winning, you see it on paper, but you're also able to look back over the week or look back over the month or even the year and say, okay, here's, we were doing really well, and then we kind of had like a downturn. What happened? Well, I wasn't doing these things, or I wasn't keeping these commitments over here. So then you can see that, right? Versus just trying to go based on memory. Oh, I think I did this. I think I did that. I'm not really sure. If you get it down on paper, just get yourself a notebook.
Yeah, you missed the whole couple days trying to remember 3 days ago.
And just something to keep track daily so you can see your wins, you can see your losses, you can see over the week, are we winning more than we're losing? And then that's how you create that momentum. But remember, it's the little things that all stack up and create those bigger things.
And keep the one book just for that. Yeah. Not your notepad where you're doing other things. You really need to see it.
This is your win-loss book. This is your scorebook. The day also. This is your scorebook. Just like in sports, you have a scorebook. Well, this is your scorebook for life. And so you're seeing, how are you scoring? How are you stacking up? What are you doing? And when you see something repeatedly coming up and it's not serving you, then you need to change that and put something else in there to get a different result.
And go ahead and write it down there also, because you can on the bottom write your thoughts of why you missed that, what am I going to do differently.
And so that way you're cognizant of it. You're not just saying, well, I'm going to do it differently now. How?
Yes.
What are you going to do next time?
What are you going to change?
When you're presented with that to get a different result, right? Yes. And so when you can start looking at the little things throughout your life that really start stacking and adding up, this is when you start making change. This is when you start making momentum. When you start seeing all the little things that you're doing and not just putting them to the side and I just do that anyway. It's like, no, those are wins. You need to see them for what they are. Just like, I'm just going to have one drink, or I'm just going to have one bite. Those, again, it's the little things that start derailing you,
one bite turns into 4.
So the little things go in both directions. I'm not gonna do my workout today. Well, today turns into tomorrow, next week, and so it becomes a thing. And so for you, when you can start acknowledging and start looking at the wins and wanting to start stacking those up and then identifying where you're losing so that you can change those things, that's how you create that stacked momentum over and over and over again. And that's how you start now. You start building momentum throughout the rest of this month and then into next year. And it doesn't just become a resolution or something that you talk about. You're actually doing it. And this is what we talk about all the time. You got to talk about it. You got to put together a plan, then you got to take action, right? And your actions are going to get you the result. Talking about it and planning about it aren't the result part. It's the actions.
And that's what happens a lot. People have all their books. And they write it out all the time. We have a meeting today.
Oh, yeah.
Let's plan it out.
And then you color code it and you put the little stickers, you make it look all pretty. But then when it comes to the action behind it, the actually doing
it just
part,
halts right there.
It doesn't happen.
No.
So spend some time, putting together and talking about it, putting together your plan, but spend the most time in the action of actually doing the thing so that you can get the result. And we're not saying it's going to, the result is going to come tomorrow, but it's going to come a lot faster than if you not ever, get on the same page of where you're wanting to go. And when you start course correcting from all those losses that you're getting and start turning those into wins and things that are serving you, you'll start seeing a difference. You'll start feeling a difference.
And everybody around you, that's what I was going to say. Yep. Everybody around you are going to be watching you.
And they're like, wow, look at that.
They're going to see a
really
difference.
Doing it.
Right, especially you're getting all those wins every day.
Because you're doing it. And that's the component that's missing most of the time is the action. So we can talk about it, put together a plan, and then get taking that action so you can start creating that winning streak and that momentum that you're looking for.
Yep, the snowball effect.
It does. It happens in both directions. So which snowball are you going to have, right? The winning snowball or the losing one?
Pushing it back up.
Which one? The choice is yours.
It is.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this conversation.
Yes, thank you.
We really appreciate you taking time out of, we know your busy holiday schedule, so thank you so much for spending
some time.
Have
fun and be safe.
Yeah, enjoy this time with your friends and family, and we appreciate you guys.
You are loved.
Thank you so much. And remember, we can do it, and so can you. Talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.